NicNackers. Excuse me. I am getting ready to make dinner for us, and I am making creamy sausage pasta. So this recipe comes from Allrecipes, and it calls for some sausage, 3/4 of a pound to be exact, but you know what? I'm not going to, 3/4 pound of pasta. But I'm just going to use a whole box. Why do 3/4? That seems silly to me. It also calls for a pound of spicy Italian sausage. I have our sausage here from one of our pigs from a year or two ago. And it also calls for 4 cloves of garlic, a teaspoon of dried basil, some fresh, or a 10-ounce package of frozen chopped spinach. Now, I don't have any spinach, and this month I am doing a no grocery shopping month except for dairy products. But I have some zucchini left over from the summer, so I'm going to use that. Use what we have. It calls for olive oil. I'm not going to end up using that. Calls for an onion. I don't have any fresh onions, and since I'm not going to the grocery store, I'm going to be using my onion flakes. It calls for a 14-ounce can of chicken broth and a 14.5 ounce can of diced tomatoes. I am probably going to be dumping the full quart of the broth and the tomatoes in, because what I'm going to do is, instead of cooking the pasta separately, I'm just going to throw it in the pan so it's a one-pot dinner and let the noodles soak up the extra broth. And if it is still too runny after putting in these and the zucchini, because the zucchini has a lot of water as well, I'm going to thicken with some cornstarch. At the very end, I will be adding 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. So here we have our sausage that's starting to brown. I turned the oven on, or the stove on, a few minutes ago, so it should be getting hot here pretty quickly. So we're just going to brown this, and I will bring you back when it's ready for the next ingredient. All right, so that looks pretty brown to me. So we're going to add our 4 cloves of garlic. And this is pretty approximate. I mean, it's a teaspoon equals a clove, but I like it a little heat. And since our sausage is not spicy, I am going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, and I'll taste it towards the end and see if maybe it needs a little bit more than that. Becca and I both like a little heat, and since the boys are gone tonight, well, I guess the one boy that's here now is gone tonight, and a teaspoon of our basil, be a little generous with that, and I'm going to go ahead and put in our onion. And I'm going to do 3 teaspoons, because 3 teaspoons equals a tablespoon. And I feel like that's a good amount of the dried onion. We're going to let that cook for a few minutes, and I'll bring you back when we're adding the tomatoes and the chicken broth. All right, so that's been warming up there for just a few minutes, not very long. Go ahead and add our tomatoes. And I can tell you this already smells so good. Becca's nodding her head in agreement, so I know she's looking forward to it as much as I am. And it calls for chicken broth, but I have a turkey that I just made, so I'm going to interchange that with that. And I'm going to go ahead and throw in the zucchini so we can get that heated up, because we're going to be throwing in our pasta and letting that cook for 20 minutes or however long it takes for them to soak up that liquid. So I'm going to get this up to boiling. I might let it boil for 5 minutes or so to boil off some of the excess fluid, and then I'll bring you back when I'm adding the pasta. So we got that up to boiling. Hasn't quite been 5 minutes, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to put all this pasta in here. We're going to get that stirred up and back to boiling again. Now I will tell you, normally I would put the lid on this and let it go for 10-15 minutes or so. But since there's so much liquid, I think I'm going to go ahead and just leave the lid off. And between the noodles and evaporation, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we get a nice creamy pasta dish. If it still looks like there's too much liquid when the pasta is completely cooked through, I will make a slurry and thicken it with cornstarch. Easy fix right there. All right, I'll bring you back. So our pasta has been cooking. It looks fantastic. There's still some extra fluid in there, some of that liquid, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and add the Parmesan cheese now. And I also have mixed up over here in a little cup beside me a tablespoon of cornstarch, and just for extra creaminess, I added 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. So I'm going to put that Parmesan cheese in there, and I have that slurry already. I'm going to go ahead and pour that around. It's really thick, so I'm hoping it helps get that nice and thick as well. Get that mixed off with a spoon. Let's stir this up. And I might, since I had all that extra broth, and just because cheese, you know, I think I'm going to add an extra half a cup of cheese. And I'm looking in there, and I'm not thinking that it's going to be spicy enough. I think I'll get a fork and try it. If it's not, I'm going to add another 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. Let's do that extra half cup of cheese. There we go. Fork. Grab a noodle. I'm pretty sure they're done. They've been cooking for a while, but I'll double check. Definitely needs some more heat. I'm going to turn that down. That a tablespoon of cornstarch would be enough, but you know, that still seems kind of runny to me, so I think I'm going to add another tablespoon of cornstarch. I'll probably just add it with some water this time though. And that should be enough. Oh yeah, it's already thickening up. That's going to be great. Oh, I didn't add my red pepper flakes. Better grab those. Sprinkle a little bit on there. The salt level seemed okay to me, so I'm not too worried about that. That's definitely creamy and delicious. And once February comes and I can get some spinach, I think I might try this recipe with spinach as well, because I think that would be delicious. All right, so I'll get some plated up and I'll do a taste test for you. So dinner is ready and it looks fantastic. Well, I think it looks fantastic. See if there's enough heat now that I added that extra red pepper flakes. It's gonna be hot. I don't know if you can see the steam. Oh yeah, you can see the steam. The dogs are wanting some too, but they already ate. It kind of has that hint of a spaghetti flavor with the tomatoes and the basil, but it's toned down a lot and has that tangy Parmesan taste to it from that cheese. It's delicious. Probably, honestly, could have used a little bit more of the red pepper flakes, but it's tasty. Definitely not too spicy, at least for my taste. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.